Dorsey.
Present.
Trustee Dorsey present. Trustee Vincent G. Liger.
Present.
Trustee Liger present. I'm going to circle back to ex officio member Richardson. Trustee Ronald E. Russell.
Present.
Trustee Russell present. Trustee Leona E. Smith.
Present.
Trustee Smith present. Trustee Dwayne A. Paulwood present. Trustee Paulwood present. Mr. Chairman, there are 6 present. If I may, I would like to read a piece of correspondence into the record from Director Cindy Richardson. The correspondence is dated January 21st, 2025, addressed to myself, Administrator, Chief Executive Officer of the GERS. Reads, Dear CEO Dawson, this correspondence serves to inform you that, unfortunately, I will be unable to attend the GERS board meeting scheduled for January 23rd, 2025. Due to prior commitments of the Division of Personnel Management team, there will be no available representative to attend the meeting on my behalf. I apologize for any inconvenience this may cause, and I appreciate your understanding. Kindly provide me with any updates from the meeting so I can remain informed. In the meantime, please find DOP's payment information to include in your administrative report if needed. Unfortunately, the administrative report was already prepared and circulated, but I'll read this into the record, and it has to be reconciled with our information. $39,169 was paid on December 12, 2024 for October and November 2024 rent. $20,084.50 was paid on December 12, 2024 for December 2024 rent and late fee charges. $43,224.90 was paid on December 12, 2024 for electricity from July through September 2024. The outstanding amounts being processed are as follows: $16,982.77 for electricity from September 23rd, 2024 to November 22nd, 2024. $19,584.50 January 2025 electricity. Thank you for your understanding, and I look forward to receiving any updates from the meeting. Sincerely, Cynthia Richardson, Director, Division of Personnel. Once again, the information with regards to payments is to be confirmed and the balance is reconciled. Okay. With that, I imagine that we would mark Director Richardson as excused. Right. So there are 6 present, 1 excused.
Thank you. Are there any comments or suggestions from retirees? Are there any comments and suggestions from active members?
Yes, I have a comment. Chair, it's Trustee Dorsey.
Commenting as active member?
Yeah, I'm discussing I guess a question to the CEO as an active member to an active member that was brought to my attention. And I guess throughout the meeting, maybe in his report or during his report, he can explain what the outcome is or not. We already discussed the situation with the PP3, the public relationship or the private relationship with the Port Authority.
Trustee Dorsey.
Uh-huh.
Can you speak a little louder? I struggle to.
Hold on. Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, a public-private partnership with the Port Authority. I'm not sure if even Trustee Smith can put some light on this situation, but I just wanted to know for the record if the employees with this public-private partnership at the Port Authority are going to be part still of the GRS system. Because I know where I sit as an active and looking to be a retiree, we don't need to lose any members because of a public-private partnership, 1. And 2, I'm not sure if a public-private partnership can, a private company could be over the public safety arm of the Port Authority as well as the fire service arm of the Port Authority. So I don't know if our CEO had any discussions recently as an update to where we was last time. I know the last time it was discussed, as I said to people in our meeting that, which was public meeting, I always told them to go back and look at the meeting, that, you know, we weren't going to lose any employees from the Port Authority unless they decide they're just going to retire or something, but not be forced into a public-private and be on the private side of the venue that they had an option. So I don't know if that's changed, but that's something maybe Trustee Smith would have more light on since she's a trustee on that board, a board member to the port, as well as the CEO. If there's an update you can share with us as trustees that we're not losing any employees over there. That's all I can say about that.
Well, let me, before the administrator chime in, 80% of what you just stated is not a GRS issue. It's not a GRS issue, and Ms. Smith is sitting here in her capacity as a trustee for the Government Employee Retirement System, and as the only capacity she's sitting here in. Proceedings allowed.
Mr. Chairman, to answer Trustee Dorsey's question very directly, no, there is no.
No, there's what, CEO?
There's no updates. There's no.
So let me ask you, CEO, what is the last update on this situation? Are the employees going to be part of this, or they're not going to be part?
Trustee Dorsey, we have an agenda. We're at comments and suggestions from active members.
I'm an active member speaking. I'm an active member speaking.
And the issues that you're raising are not GRS issues. GRS
It's a
cannot
GRS.
GRS cannot speak.
Chair.
Don't interrupt, sir, I'm speaking. GRS can't answer as to whether or not it's legal for a private entity to take over the safety or security of the airport. That's not GRS issue. And we have an authority to tell a private entity that they have to, you know, assume or those are questions that are not within the scope of the GRS.
That's not correct.
Sir,
our council,
I'm asking board council to weigh in, because when I say things, I guess I have no value of meaning to you. Attorney Williams, would you chime in as to your perspective?
I concur with what the chairman has said. Unless there are issues relative to what GRS has jurisdiction over, that would be the only thing that we would want to weigh in on. But all the other issues are not GRS related issues that we have any jurisdiction or any authority over.
I'm glad you said that, board chair, but that wasn't my point. My point was, board chair, when this issue came up, we had that discussion. It was said that we would not be losing any employees from that system of the port unless they were going to either retire at that point. We weren't going to lose any. So my question to you, council, what is it that you remember from those discussions?
Don't answer. Don't answer. We have comments and suggestions from active members. We have an agenda. We are going to stick to it.
I'm asking a question of the board council.
And I instructed the board council not to respond. I'm chairing the meeting. We have an agenda. We're at comments and suggestions from active members. There are none, so let's move on to the secretary minutes. Reference to the secretary minutes from the December 9, 2024 meetings. Are there any corrections or edits that need to be made to those minutes?
Mr. Chairman, a motion to approve the minutes of December
9. There's a motion by Trustee Smith to adopt the minutes from the December 9, 2024 meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Clark. Can I have a roll call, please, Mr. Dawson?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Trustee Taman Clark.
Yes.
Trustee Clark, yes. Trustee Andre Dorsey. Trustee Dorsey?
Yes, yes,
Trustee Dorsey, yes. Trustee Vincent Liger?
Yes.
Trustee Liger, yes. Trustee Ronald Russell?
Yes.
Trustee Ronald Russell, yes. Trustee Leona Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Smith, yes. Trustee Dwayne Colwood?
Yes,
Trustee Colwood, yes. Mr. Chairman, there are 6 yea.
thank you. Next item on the agenda, the chairman's report. I have no report. Yeah, okay. I have no activities to report. However, I'd like to welcome Trustee Carmen Clark. Welcome to the board. Thank you for your willingness to serve and look forward to working with you.
It's a great privilege, Chair. I appreciate the confidence and faith of the people who were able to vote on my confirmation, and I'm glad to be a part of this organization and hopefully be an asset. So looking forward to collaborating with everyone. Thank you so much.
my information, Chair.
What's the question? Go ahead.
I just also want to welcome our new trustee, Mr. Clark, to the board as well. Look forward to working with you.
Thank you, Mr. Dorsey. I appreciate that.
Same sentiment. Welcome.
Mrs. Clark, welcome to the board. Looking forward to working with you for the betterment of the system.
Absolutely, that's the goal. And by the way, if anyone wants to, have a discussion with me about any topic, just to get a little bit familiar, I'm glad to share my personal information so we could connect, because I think that forming a partnership will help us, kind of decipher some of these challenges and help us get to our end goal of bettering the system. So looking forward to it.
Trustee Clark, welcome from Ronald Russell.
Thank you, Mr. Russell.
Mr. Darcy, to proceed with administrative.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I too would like to welcome as Administrator and Chief Executive Officer and on behalf of the management and staff of the Government Employees Retirement System, I would like to extend a warm welcome to Trustee Clark, and we certainly look forward to working with you and helping to bring you up to speed.
Absolutely. Thank you, CEO Dawson. I appreciate it.
Excellent. Thank you. So proceeding with the administrator's reports in its usual format, beginning with meetings, presentations, and appearances. On December 9th, we held the Board of Trustees meeting on St. Croix. That same day, we had the retiree holiday social on St. Croix. December 12th, we transitioned to St. Thomas, where we held our second annual retiree holiday social. Both events were very well attended and very much appreciated by our retirees. It has certainly very quickly become a tradition. December 13th, we had our staff development and annual employee recognition events. December 14th, we hosted the annual Governor's Children's Christmas Party at Havenside. December 16th, I had a meeting with Senator Dwayne DeGraff at his request regarding possible funding opportunity. December 17th, I had a meeting with members of staff regarding Linnea Solutions contracts, which we were in the process of reviewing. December 18th, I had a meeting with Design District, who presented their plans thus far for the renovation of the lobby, the atrium redesign, as well as the renovation, much needed renovation of the restroom facilities, and most importantly, the piping, what have you, throughout the building, which is quite aged and prone to problems. December 18th, held a meeting with ideas regarding rebranding of the Havenside property. December 23rd, I had an interview along with certain members of senior staff where we interviewed for certain positions. December 24th, this isn't a meeting, but it certainly is noteworthy, responded to the governor with regards to bill number 350428, which we had been requested to provide our input on. The letter to the governor on which the chairman was copied is included in the package. I think is being referred to as page 9 in my report, which it is. And Mr. Chairman, if I may share some detail, this bill was a part of what is known in the vernacular as the Christmas tree bill that was passed in December by the 35th legislature. We asked to opine on certain sections of the bill. The one that we jumped right on with this correspondence and that we felt very strongly about had to do with the granting of early retirement benefits to certain classes of employees, which pursuant to law, any changes to benefits, there must be an actuarial analysis conducted to ensure that it is properly funded. Of course, we had approximately exactly 1 day to respond to the governor's request for our recommendation and analysis, because he, of course, only had 10 days himself by law, by fancy constitution, by the Organic Act to respond to the legislature. So that being the case, and having no actuarial study, and certainly no funding for the changes that would have been indicated by the bill, our strong recommendation to the governor was that he veto that section of the bill. And I would read a portion of the letter to the governor where I wrote, Governor Bryan, not only has there been no time to conduct an actuarial study regarding the impact of bill number 35-0428 on the still vulnerable GERS, but there has certainly been no funding set aside for the current and future costs of proposed benefit improvements for the affected classes of employees outlined above as required by law. Suffice it to say, this legislation will dangerously decrease cumulative contributions to the GERS while increasing benefits paid out. Despite recent financial progress facilitated by your administration, Section 2 of Bill number 35-0428 represents an unfunded mandate for the GERS, the type that created our present insolvency to begin with. We therefore most strongly recommend that it be vetoed by you. I certainly was very reassuring that's the excerpt from the letter. It certainly was very reassuring when the governor did issue his message regarding his actions on various bills that he quoted directly from the letter to him regarding our recommendation that he veto the section. So that was an unexpected situation that was dealt with very swiftly and successfully. I imagine that we will probably have to deal with other situations like this in the future, but we stand prepared to guard the GERS and the progress that we have made today. Continuing with the meetings, presentations, and appearances, on December 27th, we had our monthly Friday night at Haven site. December 30th through January 3rd, I was on annual leave. January 7th, I had a follow-up meeting with ideas regarding Haven site, and we will be making some announcements with regards to Haven site on our upcoming plans in the near future. January 13th, I attended the 36th legislature swearing in ceremony at the Emancipation Gardens. January 15th, I participated in a meeting with Siegel, a company regarding census and financial data. And January 16th, I participated in a mediation regarding a former Haven site mall tenant. Continuing with my report, the first section, member services, retirement applications. Retirement applications as of January 15th, 2025, has 159 pending. 15 of those are from the calendar year 2025. 131 of those remaining cases is from 2024, and the other cases, a relatively small number, are from prior calendar years. Contributions, processing, refunds, and death benefits. For the fiscal year to date, October 1st through, this certainly can't be correct. In the first instance, there's a typo under member services. It's January 15, 2025, as opposed to January 15, 2024. You know how when you write a check, you know that we do that very often anymore. The first month of the year is perilous when making the transition to a new year. So let the record reflect that that is a typo, and it should be January 15, 2025. And so the 2025 here just refers to under contributions, processing, refunds, and death benefits. It just refers to the fiscal year, which began October 1st and runs through September 30th, 2025. In terms of refunds, there are 130 cases, 48 have been completed and 82 are pending. The number of cases completed, the 48, represented some $692,000 and some change. Death benefits, there have been 69 cases in the fiscal year so far. 9 have been completed and 60 are pending presently. And the amounts involved there is relatively small, some $42,000. From the accounting department with regards to annuity payments, the statistical updates in terms of retirees is we have, as of January 15th, 8,776 retirees on, on our retiree payroll. The cumulative dollars paid out for the fiscal year so far from October 1st through January 15th is $79,081,347.09. The vast majority of that is service retirement annuities of some $77.2 million. Survivor annuities, $508,000. Duty connected death annuities, de minimis at $748. Duty connected disability annuities, $921,000. And non-duty disability annuities of $469,000. In terms of statistics, the number of retirees added to the payroll for the fiscal year through January 15th is 94. The number of retirees added to the payroll for the January 15th pay date, which was the latest one, was 6. The number of retirees expected to be placed on payroll for the January 31st pay date is 5. Excuse me. Number of retirees deleted from the payroll for the fiscal year is 88. And of course, each one of those represents a loss to the family here in the Virgin Islands, so we extend our condolences. And as of the January 15th, 2025 payroll, the gross retiree payroll arrived at $11,317,366.76. We have statistics with regards to our payments of the 9,416 disbursements for the January 15 period. 1,716 were off island, 7,700 were on island, and the vast majority continue to be paid by ACH as opposed to check. We only have 183 individuals remaining to be paid by that are paid by check, and even those we're trying to see if we can transition to ACH, which is much more efficient and economical for everybody. Update on our loans and mortgages. As of December 31st, 2024, we had 2,380 units of loans, which would be personal loans and mortgages on our books, representing some $22,216,009.63. Most of which are active personal loans, rather, to active employees at $18.5 million. All of the other balances are due to legacy loan programs that are no longer in place, but just have balances that are being collected. Switching to the operations portion of my administrator's report with regards to the St. Croix office complex, there are no major issues there. We are working on the exterior lighting, which, as we saw from our December event, we had to supplement the exterior lighting with the stand lights. But we should be rectifying that shortly. The St. Thomas office complex, the flat roof renovations are 100% complete. We are simply waiting for a warranty inspection. Of course, tremendous progress continues on the at the Havenside Mall, particularly with the hotel development. That is 76% complete. Much of the work is now focused on the interior, and they are pushing for a May 2025 completion month. With regards to the generator at the property, we do have a new generator that is being installed. I'm not going to go through every line of this update. Suffice it to say that we should be having the electrical wiring completed, should have been completed this week. The fuel lines were installed on January 17th, and we should be starting up that generator for commissioning next week, the week of January 27th. So, and that's a relief because the legacy generator at that property is not reliable, to say the least. So we will not be unhappy to bid that one. We're not getting rid of it, but certainly will not be able to finally. With regards to rental collections, much of the arrearage that we had was with the Division of Personnel, but as indicated in Director Richardson's correspondence, much of that has already been paid or is in the process of being paid. Just for the record, December 2024 collections, we received $188,000 rounded in rental payments, $139,000 in electrical payments, and rental year-to-date collections for fiscal year 2025, some $268,000, and likewise for electrical, some $171,000. Attached to my administrator's report is the reference letter to the governor with regards to sections of Bill 350428, which is also attached to my correspondence and to the administrator's report. With that, Mr. Chairman, I conclude the administrator's report.
Any question for the administrator?
Yeah, I have a question, Chair.
Okay, hold on. Right up, trustee.
You said the discussion with Senator DeGraff for the funding opportunities. Did he mention what funding opportunities, or that's for another conversation?
He did, I think it's a hybrid between what we can discuss publicly and privately. So.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. Thanks.
Trustee Dorsey, go ahead.
Well, I had the same question along the line of Senator DeGraff, because he had a funding bill for some type of senior living that was vetoed. I think it was one of the last bills he presented in the last Senate.
Senator Dorsey, Trustee Dorsey, you are warm if not hot.
No, what I was asking,
in other words, you're in the right ballpark. Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to know if there's going to be a follow-up meeting, because I always wonder why he was sending that money to Public Works versus sending it over here to us. And then I understood that Senator Potter may also want to assist in that area. So did you have any discussions recently with Senator Potter in terms of helping us move those projects along as well on our two undeveloped properties in the two districts? Have you had any communication with him?
Not with Senator Potter directly on that, but Senator Potter is always very reliable in terms of his assistance and willingness to assist the GERS. But certainly in his role as Senate President, I will be following up with him on a number of issues. So yes, we will be following up.
Okay, then my next item was the same bill that the governor sent, like you said, a day before. Is there any way we can look at that from a language standpoint that we would also have 10 days at the time we receive to respond versus a one-day turnaround? Can we look at that to amend the law, make a recommendation to amend the law, maybe through the same Senator Potter, so that we as a system going forward would have 10-day window, if that's enough time, or whatever time you may recommend that you would need to do your due diligence on future bills that may come, that so we don't look at unfunded liabilities on that issue.
Dorsey, I appreciate your question, but the issue of 10 days comes up because that is a constraint in the Organic Act that's placed on the governor to act on legislation from the legislature. So it is not the executive's fault that we only had one day, because he had many bills to look at, he and his staff, and they requested that we respond by a certain date. I think the solution really is that certain bills should be considered in committee at the legislature before they're considered on the floor before the full body. That way we can be invited ahead of time through the committee process and given an opportunity to conduct the proper analyses and actually be helpful to the legislature in terms of providing information before they take actions on bills. But to act on a bill that didn't receive any committee hearings and that we didn't have an opportunity to weigh in on and give our recommendation, place the governor and place us in a position where we essentially couldn't do the proper analyses that would be required.
So I guess again, I would say this, Administrator, is that something we can still take up as to what you just said? We can forward that proposed language to the Senate President Potter, so that maybe we'll see some light at the end of the tunnel. That's another way to hopefully not have this situation happen in the future. Because I like it that the fact that it should be in committee before it comes.
I don't know that we can tell the legislature that they cannot waive their own rules, and
That's not what I was saying. That's not what I was saying. I was just saying it as a recommendation so that we, as a system, don't run into a possible unfunded liability. Something might slip through the cracks next time. You don't know. That's all I was suggesting.
Yeah,
so
I appreciate that, Trustee Dorsey, and we will be having a meeting with the new incoming senators in terms of an orientation, and the invitation may in fact go to the entire body. And when we have them as an audience in that setting, as well as any future appearances that we have, we will certainly convey that sentiment that it's helpful to the legislature as well as to us when we can address these matters with them ahead of time, in enough time, and preferably through the committee process, so that they can ask as many questions as they like, and we can provide as much information as is needed.
I only mention that because of the critical nature of past unfunded liabilities and how they have affected the system overall. I understand you're going to have a general orientation with some of the new senators. I was just asking if you could reduce it to writing. We have something in writing in terms of a document. That was my recommendation. I don't know if the chair wants to weigh in on it. He's part of that body indirectly. The other thing was the VIPD. When is their start date? I see them on the schedule. When is their start date?
Their start date is presently. If Deputy Administrator and then Gums is on, she's dealing with them directly from an operational standpoint. But the lease has been signed. We were waiting to get money in hand, which I believe we received, to permit them to take possession of the premises. So that is actually, I'm getting a text from her because she did have a function to attend to, that it's effective immediately. So we're good.
Okay, so did we receive a deposit? How did that work out? Did we actually receive a deposit from this agency?
They actually paid through the month of February. So we received more than the deposit. We received the actual lease.
Okay, thank you. Thank you,
You're
Chair.
welcome.
Any more questions for the CEO? All right, committee reports. I don't think there are any. Let's move on to the treasurer's report.
I had a question on the committee reports, Chair.
Warning report.
Hello?
Yeah, a question on committee report, the warning report.
Well, my question was, and speaking to the committee chair for the 2 vacant land, when is the proposed date scheduled this year, 2025? I would like to be in attendance. When would that possible date be for looking at developing the 2 undeveloped properties in the St. Thomas, St. Croix district for the retirees? What's the scheduled proposed date? Is there a schedule yet set up for that?
So Chairman, if I may, to Trustee Smith, who chairs that committee, we are presently doing as we should be doing our work behind our staff work behind the scenes with the consultants on that property at the appropriate time, on the properties rather, at the appropriate time we will be presenting reports, recommendations, what have you, to the committee for its consideration, and that has not occurred as yet, and there's no date established as yet, but that will be a work in progress, and you'll be updated through the committee chair accordingly.
Well, I was just asking the chair if there was anything from a chair standpoint of that committee. Trustee
Did-
Smith,
Not at this time.
Trustee Smith, not
Not
at
at
this
this time,
time.
Trustee Dorsey, I'm awaiting, the reports from, Mr. Darcy.
Okay, well,
I
Trustee
can do
Smith,
Right now. In
Trustee
regards to stuff I made.
Trustee Smith, I appreciate you giving me the answer to that question, and I await that time, and I would like to be again invited to participate in that process. When that happens. Thank you.
Not a problem.
President report.
Good morning, Board Chair, other trustees. This is the Government Employees Retirement Schedule of Receipts and Disbursements for the month ending December 31st, 2024. Receipts from collections, we have loan repayment, $630,341. Year-to-date, $2,055,744. We have employer retirement contributions, $6,401,680 year-to-date, $20,569,785. Employee retirement contributions, $3,255,494. Year-to-date, $10,637,321. We have total collections of $10,361,818. Year-to-date collection, $136,337,141. We have disbursements. We have annuity payments of $23,015,509. Year-to-date, $71,241,297. We have administrative expenses of $1,684,626. Year-to-date, $4,625,433. We have personal loans of $31,431. Year-to-date, $63,631. We have refunds of contributions, $1,388,476. Year-to-date, $3,619,715. For a total disbursement for the month of December of $26,137,395. Year-to-date, $79,589,747. In the month of December, we had a net cash deficit of $15,755,577. A year-to-date net cash surplus of $56,747,395. So in the month of December, we have collected 40% of what was needed for disbursement of which is the $26 million. Our year-to-date administrative expenses is at 20% of the budget, and we have withdrawn thus far $60 million from the investment portfolio. We are on to the Haven site. Schedule of receipts and disbursement for the month of December 2024. We have rents from Haven site tenants, $438,781 year-to-date, $1,309,407. Miscellaneous, $39,594 year-to-date, $121,441. Total collections for the month of December, 478,376. Year to date, 1,430,844. We have disbursement totaling 356,293. Year to date, 1,104,383. In the month of December, we had a net cash surplus of $122,083. And year to date, we have a net cash surplus of $326,465. So we have collected 74%. The mall expenditures were 74% of the total collections. And we have a decrease of around 37% over last fiscal year.
Decrease of expenditures.
Excuse me?
A decrease of expenditures.
Decrease in expenditure of around 37%, which is 410,000. And our year-to-date expenses were 14% of budget. That ends the report, Board Chair.
Excellent expense control at Haven site, and kudos to Mr. Mills and his team at Haven site. Thank you.
Any questions for the CFO?
Yeah, I have a question, Chair. Ms. Jeremiah, good morning. Nice to see you. Haven't seen you in a minute, and Happy New Year to you and your family. So Ms. Jeremiah, is there a cost breakdown of the money that the system has been spending for the social activities that's been going on the property at Haven site, as well as the property, the main properties, the Haven site mall expenses for the entertainment, all that stuff, right? And then also the same thing for the main building, St. Thomas, and the main building, St. Croix. Is there a cost of all of that that you have someplace in here?
There is, but it's not broken out separately. So I will have to pull that information and turn it over to you. It's not readily available like that, but it can certainly be pulled.
And I would
It's combined on the other services.
Okay, if you could forward that to the chair to forward to us as trustees, I'd like to see what that number is. And that's all I had with that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for the CFO?
No, I saw it. Thanks.
Can I have a motion? Somebody did. Can I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Trustee Dorsey, seconded by Trustee Smith. Can I have a roll call, please?
Yes. Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Clark, yes. Trustee Dorsey?
Yes.
Trustee Dorsey, yes. Trustee Liger?
Yes.
Trustee Liger, yes. Trustee Russell?
Yes.
Trustee Russell, yes. Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Smith, yes. Trustee Colwood?
Yes.
Trustee Colwood, yes. Mr. Chairman, 6 yes.
Thank you. Next up, the investment officer's report.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, other trustees. This is an update of the investment portfolio as of the end of December 31st, 2024. It's just a couple of market highlights for the month and subsequently for the quarter. Global equity markets retreated for the month, but U.S. shares advanced overall in Q4, outperforming other regional markets as they came under pressure amid worries over potential trade tariffs. U.S. equities saw a shift in sentiment after a strong rally in November as concerns over persistent inflation and resilient labor markets led the Federal Reserve to adopt a more hawkish stance, which fueled the stock market sell-off during the month of December. Eurozone shares declined amid fears of a mild recession. Also contributed to declines were political instability, primarily in France and Germany, coupled with worries about potential trade wars following the U.S. presidential election results. Emerging markets declined as the MSCI Emerging Market Index fell in U.S. dollar terms in face of investor concerns about the impact of the incoming U.S. president's proposed tariffs, particularly on China. On the fixed income side, fixed income aggregate indices delivered negative performance in the month, with high yield bonds outperforming their investment grade counterparts for the month and the quarter. Total plan performance for the month was down 1.7% for the month. For the quarter, slightly down 0.5%. Total domestic equity was down 3.1% for the month. For the quarter, it was up 3%. Total international equity was down 1.8% for the month. Contributing to that was developed markets was down 2.3%. Our emerging market portfolio was down 0.2%. For the quarter, our international equity portfolio was down about 7.9%. Total domestic fixed income was also down 1.3%. Our investment grade bonds was down about 1.7%. Our TIPS was also down similar 1.7%. Our high yield bond portfolio was down slightly about 0.4%. We did see a 0.4% return in cash on our total alternatives, which includes Havensight, our private equity funds, everything excluding our member loan programs, and our St. Thomas and St. Croix office complex was up slightly 0.4%. As it relates to the activity of fund performance, we ended the month at approximately $536 million. We began the month with a market value of about $565.7 million. We had a net cash flow of $20 million to pay benefits and expenses. We had an income of about $105,000, primarily from our Havensight operations. We had an unrealized depreciation in the portfolio for the month of about $9.8 million. That brought us to an ending market value at the end of the month of approximately $536 million. Fiscal year to date, we began the fiscal year at about $497.2 million. We had a net cash flow of about $41.5 million. Of course, we had that $101 million inflow from the bond proceeds in October. Income $515,000. We have an unrealized depreciation so far fiscal year to date in the portfolio of about $3.2 million, which brings us back to the ending market value of about $536 million. For the month of December, we did not have to raise any cash for the month for liquidity purposes. As it pertains to management consultant and custodian fees, we had no activity month to date. We have paid about $295,000 calendar year to date. For the fiscal year so far, we've paid about $99,000 fiscal year to date in management fees. And as of December 30th, that managed fees make up about total fees amount is about 3 basis points or 0.03% of the overall assets. Securities lending, month to date, we did earn about $789. year to date, about 13,000. Fiscal year to date, we on about 1,700, and all those proceeds were reinvested back into their respective funds, respectively. On the far right bottom, you could see the current allocation, or the current allocation of the market value. Currently in the fund, domestic equity, we are about at 170.8 million. International equity, we have about 99.2 million allocated. Domestic fixed income, and we have about 198 million allocated. Total assets, and of course, this just includes our Haven site, our two raw lands, and our private equity investment is about 67.5 million. And cash on hand at the end of the month of December, we were at about 0.4%. Mr. Chair, trustees, that completes my report.
I have a question, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Henderson. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question, Chair.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Dawson first, but
Okay, I just had two. One, the alternative assets, that figure you have, is that based on the last appraisals?
That is correct.
Okay. And then the other question I had was the cover over. Is there any update on the cover over situation with the system? Are you part of those discussions? I guess I should ask that question first. Are you part of those discussions? And if you're not, should you be?
Other than the last report that we got from Administrator Dawson, I don't think we've had any updates as to the cover over difference coming to the system. As it pertains to if I should be a part of that discussion, like that, I guess that would be up to Administrator Dawson and you, Mike, and the trustees.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Chair.
I have a question.
well, Mr. Clark.
Well, welcome aboard, Trustee Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Henderson. I appreciate that. So I wanted to ask, this was prior to me joining, but was there, I guess, discussion internally about how you would position the fund relative to the changes in the political climate? So when President Trump was elected, did we decide that we're going to keep our asset allocation? We're going to shift strategies because there's been a lot of information out there about tariffs coming and potential trade wars. And so some of these things are already hitting the equities markets and even the fixed income markets. So trying to understand what you did in response to that, what's your strategy going forward in terms of allocation and how flexible you can be.
All right.
Trustee Clark, if I may, I would like to address that, Mr. Chairman. Actually, we're going to have that as part of the orientation that we have planned with you. And I was going to ask Mr. Henderson, your question is timely, if he would mention the significant rebalancing of the portfolio that was just concluded. The investment committee met a couple of months ago and received the recommendation of Makita with regards to a rebalancing of our portfolios. So, Mr. Henderson, if you would update Trustee Clark and the entire board, frankly, as to where we stand with that.
Okay, so in November of 2024, based on the recommendation from our investment consultant and the vote of the total board of trustees, we began to reposition the portfolio as follows. So we reduced our equity position, our equity targets. Previously, our equity targets in the portfolio was at about 45%. So we reduced that to about 35% and transitioned that 10% to fixed income. And then we also reduced slightly our position.
Yeah, man.
We reduce our position slightly in emerging markets as well. I think by about 1%. Go ahead.
Let me add on top of that too. We have our investment committee meeting this coming Monday, so we get a even fresher,
Excellent.
update from our investment advisors and Mr. Clark. That would be even better for me to raise the question.
All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate the time.
I had a question.
Shoot.
Chairman, I had a question.
Go ahead, Trustee Russell.
Yeah, we had already approved, but we didn't travel to Washington. And I would try to get the appetite for the members actually traveling to Washington and meeting with the Trump administration and trying to get legislation that would change the rum cover over back to the $13 figure. And if that is something that the board would consider, because we had already approved at earlier meetings trying to go to Washington, but we never went. And now, since you got Trustee Clark intimating about the changes that might be needed, maybe the whole board should travel to Washington and meet with the Trump administration and try to get an appetite for making the rum cover over the $13 figure so that we could realize the full potential of the rum cover over. So I'd like to get a sense of where you are, Mr. Chair, where and other trustees are in terms of traveling to Washington and lobbying for the increase.
Well, I'm in the same place I was before. I'm against it.
Okay. Is any trustee interested in going to Washington and meeting with the administration to lobby for the $13 rum cover over figure? Dorsey?
Yes, I will say this. Based on the meeting we had at our retreat recently in Puerto Rico, and we were told by the representative that represents the PFA, that is something that we probably should consider since we have no direct representative for the system, as we were told. So based on that comment, I don't have a problem looking at that again. And looking at the moves from the current president, it sounds like the right time if we're going to do such a thing. It's just my opinion on that. So I think that's an opportunity. I have no problem with it.
Trustee
So can
Smith.
oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Trustee Clark.
Yeah, so I was going to ask before, I think that could be a potential step, but before getting there, have we worked with our delegate to Congress to potentially put this on her agenda for things that she can try to raise on our efforts before we commit both dollars and time for all of the trustees to travel to Washington, such that maybe she can help us get an audience with the right person, use her as an intermediary since she's a member of Congress and help us go down that path. Is that an option that we've considered already?
We considered it and we approached the delegate at an earlier stage, but we didn't go full out. I approached the delegate. I was chair at the time of the development committee, and I approached her about lobbying for the $13 figure. I don't think it would be anything that she would, reject if we approach her again and solicit her help. We need all hands on deck, and I believe that, we should do it in conjunction with us lobbying, okay? But I approached her about it. But that was much earlier when we were in a different state, and I had the chair of the development committee at that point. So that's a while back, but I don't see any problem approaching her again and working in conjunction with her as, as a concerted effort.
Mr. Chairman and Trustee Clark, I think your thinking is exactly in the right place, and Delegate Plaskett has both publicly and privately indicated that she has exerted the efforts of her and her office with regards to the cover over of the extender being increased and being made permanent. And the efforts exceed the delegate's office. The governor directly has been probably the chief lobbyist with regards to that matter. Winston and Strawn, which is the consultant, a lobbyist in Washington, D.C., and we did have a member from when Winston and Strawn address our trustee retreat. They have been full bore with regards to their efforts. We have participated in Government Accountability Office and the Congressional Budget Office studies with regards to the GERS and its funding, as well as the matching fund. So all cylinders have been firing with regards to getting the additional cover over revenues. The issue at the end of the day has come down to the impasse in Congress, where no tax legislation has moved, and we are statistical rounding error in the United States budget, and they can't get larger things done so far. And I guess we're all watching to see where things are going presently, but it certainly isn't for lack of effort on behalf of everyone, from the chief executive of this territory, the delegate to Congress, and the Congress itself, which has generated reports through its CBO and GAO. And we'll be pleased to share those with you, Trustee Clark.
No, absolutely. So that's I wanted to make sure that we were, going through the paces, and if we've taken all of those steps in terms including governor as well as the delegate to Congress, then I think that we've done our duty.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
Watch.
Any other questions for the investment officer?
I just had a comment to Trustee Clark. Trustee Clark.
Whoa. Any other questions for the investment officer?
It's related to the investment officer's report.
Are there any questions for the investment officer? Can I have a motion to accept the investment officer's report?
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Smith, seconded by Trustee Rossi. Can I have a roll call?
Yes. Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Clark, yes. Trustee Dorsey?
Yes.
Trustee Dorsey, yes. Trustee Liger?
Yes.
Trustee Liger, yes. Trustee Russell?
Yes.
Trustee Russell, yes. Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Smith, yes. Trustee Colwood? Yes. Trustee Colwood, yes. Mr. Chairman, 6-year.
Thank you. I have a motion to retake executive session. Oh, no. One more item. Regular session, officer election.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I would like to ask at this time if there are any nominations for the position of the positions of chairman and the vice chairman of the board of trustees of the government employee retirement system. We shall take the nominations one at a time.
So let's start with the chair.
I'd like to have some discussion about it before accepting the nominations, please.
Proceed, trustee Russell.
Yes. I think the chair should alternate between islands to give the retirees and the people living in St. Croix having an opportunity to have a chair situated in St. Croix. I have operated on many boards, and the biggest one is the Bar Association, where the Bar Association elects a chairperson or president every year, and they alternate it. And being allowed to have alternating positions with each island gives I think, the board of trustees a different look in terms of, how the body functions. And I think that's important only because each island needs to be given an opportunity to have a representative be the chair and assign positions to the board of directors, assign positions that would have meaning to the membership throughout the two islands. The other thing is whether or not we have nominations based on the current structure is, I think, up for debate, because the current structure may not be serving the membership in the best way moving forward. We have properties that need to be developed. We have situations that need to be rectified in terms of how the leadership appears to conduct the meetings. I don't agree that it should be antagonistic to any trustee. The meeting should not be antagonistic. They should not be viewed that with antagonism toward any trustee. And I think we have moved away from being fair and giving each trustee a fair opportunity to be heard. And I think that the leadership needs to change. And that's my view on it. Before we did the nominations, I needed to say that. Thank you very much.
I have a question, Chair, to Trustee Russell, because it appears you might have sat on more other boards. Are there other public boards, situations, or committees, Trustee Russell, you've sat on where there's been a change from one district to the other, besides the bar?
Yes.
Can you give an example how that works?
Much of the organizations that, like for example, the museum and nonprofit, they changed their chairs every year. And are using that nonprofit. We did our town Frederickstead. We changed the chairs so that people could get opportunities to solve and to give their expertise. The government entities, and we are government entity, has been relegated to electing chairs that would do the political bidding of the administration in power. And I don't think it's fair. The biggest one is the legislature. I serve as president, and when I serve as president from St. Croix, the next year, Sean Malone was president because he moves to St. Thomas. And that's how people feel that they're getting representation. In some of the chairs of the boards that government agencies, they don't do it that way because they want to solve the bidding of the administration. But the legislature does it. And I think that's very important. And I have served on many boards where the boards give other people opportunity to serve as chair.
Thank you.
Attorney Russell, do you, first of all, is there policy? These references you made, do they have a policy to do so, or is it just a matter of choice?
Both some have a policy, some have just simply trying to be fair.
Okay, do you believe then that if we insist on this thing, we might force people to maybe elect someone they don't really have confidence in? Sir? Attorney Russell, are you there?
Yes, he disappeared. I no longer see him.
I believe
Okay, so let's recess for 2 minutes, give him a chance to log back in so he can answer that pertinent question.
Okay.
All right, so we'll recess for 2 minutes.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. My apologies to the board members and to the public.
All right. I was asking a question.
Yes,
Did you hear a question?
I only question that is it policy or just a respect for the constituents?
I thought I had another question.
Oh,
But
I missed the other question.
I even forget the question, but let's go on anyway. But I thought the question was, would it be fair to trustees who may not have confidence in a particular person or in the other district to have to accept it because we want to alternate?
Well, I think one.
Pause. If I take a second, we having a very technical issue on the side.
Oh, okay.
Everybody's got it right.
Okay. All right. Back on the record. Trustee Russell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and my apologies to
the
the members of the Board of Trustees and the public. And I was answering, Mr. Liger.
Yes, sir.
Every member of the board, once appointed, once elected, is qualified. Whether somebody don't like them or whether you think you trust, they're qualified. They're making decisions for every retiree and every employee. So that I don't see that as a valid criticism of alternating the chair.
Okay, so
I don't think it's a criticism.
Unless I misunderstood, Mr. Liger, let me interject. Unless I misunderstood the question, I thought the question was, do you think that by having a chair alternate from one district to the next, that it might put the trustees in a position to vote for somebody that they don't have total confidence in? I thought that was the question. I didn't think the question.
Yeah, that was the question. Yes.
The question was not whether or not the person might be qualified. And even given your response, Trustee Russell, you just said that everybody make decisions on behalf of all the retirees, all the members. So
well,
that goes against your very argument about.
No, it doesn't, because what happened is it simply. Wait, let me make sure. It simply gives fairness and balance to the process. Okay. Whether or not you want to vote for somebody is of no moment in context of fairness. Because you think that, like, for example, I totally disagree with all of the chairs being from St. Thomas for the last 4 or 5 years. I think St. Croix is disadvantaged. It was
So
so
it's your position that the chair sitting in one district is a disadvantage to members in the other district?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. For the time that I've been on this board since 2021, and I don't recall a decision that was made where we differentiated between members in one district versus another. The only time I've seen that distinction. Can I finish what I'm saying? The only time I've seen that distinction is when we go into the report and the administrator says we have X number of retirees or people getting annuities in this district and a certain amount of number in another district. Other than that, there's no differentiation between one district to the next. I don't understand where you feel that there's some kind of disadvantage by having the chair in one district. Mr. Liger, who put the question to you, I saw multiple times as chairman of the board. And I don't think that during the time that he was chair, there was some kind of disadvantage to the membership in the St. Thomas St. John district.
And I feel trustees have a right to nominate who they want to nominate. I don't think it makes a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was going to be my point. Like, this is a democratic process, and unless there can be some proof of like an explicit bias against St. Croix, and I don't even know how that would be accomplished, but unless there's some, specific allegation that, that St. Croix is being disadvantaged and can have, back it up with proof that, that's actually occurring where, the retirees are suffering under, that leadership, then, it's hard to do that. And in this process, like, everyone can put themselves up to be nominated. And if you make a compelling case about your leadership characteristics, then, people will vote for you over the other person. So, where I thought we all signed up to benefit all of the retirees across the Virgin Islands. And I think that everyone has that spirit in mind. So if, we're making claims that we need to have someone from St. Croix because they're being disadvantaged, it seems like there would need to be some form of, like a evidence or support for that statement, because otherwise than that, it almost seems like it's an attack on the character of people who are leading from the St. Thomas arm.
Also, we just started, and Attorney Russell don't even know if someone would have nominated him to become the chair.
That
he didn't even give us that opportunity.
No, I don't think that it's about me.
No, I'm only saying because
it's not about me, and and it is about.
The reason why I'm saying so is just two of us in St. Croix. It's just you and I.
And one on St. John.
Huh?
And one on St. John.
And one on St. John. And I don't want to be the chair. So if I were to nominate someone from St. Croix, it would have to be you.
Yeah, and I understand. And to Mr. Clark's comment, the bias is not the determining criteria. Nobody is suggesting that Mr. Carlwood is biased. I suggested that Mr. Carlwood had a conflict of interest early on, and that conflict, has never materialized as far as I see it, except that one time. So I don't see him having a bias or anything. It is just an appearance of fairness to both islands. And you have to assume, I have to assume that everybody who is appointed and elected has the leadership capability to chair. The chair is surrounded by a bunch of professionals that guide him, and it's just a position that is of respect that should be transferred between the islands. It should be in St. John too. So that, I think, is the overriding criteria, and nobody is claiming a bias. Nobody is claiming that discriminating in St. Croix. No, it's just an appearance of fairness so that the members in St. Croix could feel that they have somebody from St. Croix that could be the chair. Just the same thing with the legislature. It's nobody claimed that a member of the president that's currently of the legislature is biased towards some constituents. So I think you're looking for something concrete. It ain't nothing concrete. It's just fairness. It's appearance of fairness. Nobody is claiming a bias. Okay? And what I am saying, in the spirit of fairness and representation, somebody from St. Croix should be, somebody from St. John could be, and we should alternate it so that each island has an opportunity to get a chair. Thank you.
Do we alternate the governorship?
The governorship should alternate too. But, you know,
Noted.
Okay, Attorney Williams or the administrator, just for clarity. How long could the chairperson or a vice chair term limit? What is the term limit? How long could that person serve?
Pursuant to the bylaws of the GRS board, there are no term limits and there are no requirements to alternate the chair. The bylaws simply provide that there'll be an election every 2 years, so the officers serve a 2-year term. But after that, I mean, a person can be elected 5 different times to be chairperson for 2 years. It's all up to the discretion and the decision of the trustees who are voted. They get to decide who should be chair by a majority vote. And they can use whatever criteria or factors they want to, including if a trustee believes that the chair should alternate, they could use that factor who they choose to vote for. If a trustee believes that there should be term limits, they could use that belief or factor in terms of who they vote for. If a trustee believes, you know, whatever, they can use whatever criteria they want to decide, oh, he or she cast his or her vote. And there's nothing in the bylaws or rules that restrict or limits how those votes are cast.
Thank you.
So I have a comment to the chair, which is a good point you made in terms of how we select our governor and our lieutenant governor. But, you know, right now, we do have a governor out of St. Croix. Well, out of St. Thomas, moved to St. Croix, and now he's the governor out of St. Croix, and our lieutenant governor is out of St. Thomas. And normally those two positions kind of sit in one district or the other. So that's another way to look at this process. And it's just not to say that anybody is being biased, but it just allows that one particular district to have some kind of additional representation at the top that might be sitting in meetings that the other board members would not be sitting in as well, which I always believe everybody should be in those meetings. However, you are running the system now, so you have a different approach to that issue. But I always felt like we all come in here equally, as was stated. by most of the members here. So that's all how I would look at that. And I do agree with Trustee Smith that even St. John at some point should have a position at the top. And it just happens to be a young lady in that position right now. So that's like a win-win at the top for our community from that standpoint, the way I see it. But yeah, I could see a round robin happening, and just go from there as well.
Okay. Any more discussion, or can we move on to the nomination? Everybody good? Everybody air what they needed to air out from the chest?
So I renew the question, Mr. Chair, as to whether there are any nominations for chairman. We will entertain them at this point.
Nominations? Huh? This is the nomination.
Mr. Chair, I would like to nominate empower the chair.
Okay, Trustee Smith has nominated Trustee Colwood. The chairman, is there a second? Does he accept the nomination?
Yes, I do.
It's accepted.
I would nominate myself to be chair from St. Croix.
Trustee Russell has nominated himself.
Do you accept? Russell?
Yeah.
You accept the nomination?
Yeah, I accept the nomination.
Trustee Russell accepts his nomination. Are there any further nominations?
I nominate.
Are you permitted to nominate more than one individual?
Yeah.
No.
Not for chair, not for chair.
Chair.
No.
Okay.
My question is, are we going to nominate both chair and vice chair and just have one vote, or are we going to have?
We're doing them separately, sir.
We'll do it separately?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So right now we are dealing with the chairman. So we have two nominations presently.
Chair.
Wait, hold up, Trustee Liger.
My other question is, since this is by Zoom and the vote would be by secret ballot.
Yeah, you're gonna text your vote.
Text my vote to Attorney Williams.
No, to myself.
Or to the administrator.
Secretary. And that the number was should have been circulated by Ms. Foley.
Yeah.
It was. I received it.
Thank you. And I will retain those by electronic means so that we would have a record.
Well, I didn't get it right in. Ms. Coley, you sent some kind of link for me to vote?
No, it's my cell number. You will text your votes to the number that was shared.
I will text it to your number.
Mr. Dawson, I don't think I have your text, your number, you know.
I think Ms. Coley just sent it.
She just sent it? Okay. All right, thank you.
Hold on. Let me
Please include your name in the event that you're not in my contact, so I would know who the vote is attributable to. So please indicate that I state your name, vote for whomever as chairman, and I will retain those texts.
Okay.
Okay. So we will allow. Let's say we allow 3 minutes for that.
Okay.
Chair.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I wanted to nominate someone.
Oh, for chair? Okay. Go ahead.
Trustee Smith.
Does trustee Smith accept the nomination?
No, I decline.
Trustee Smith declines the
Thanks for that,
nomination.
trustee Dorsey, but I decline.
Okay.
So at this point, we have two nominations for chairman, and that would be trustee Dwayne Callwood and trustee Ronald Russell. We're permitting 3 minutes to text the number that you have for me, indicating who you're voting for. And please, once again, indicate your name as well. And I just got trustee Clark's, and he did it exactly correctly. I will indicate when I receive everyone's vote. I got trustee Clark, I got trustee Smith, got trustee Callwood's.
I am sending mine in a minute. Yes.
You get one from me?
I just got, well, but it's not per instruction. That is, I state your name, vote
Oh,
for.
okay, sorry.
Right.
Okay.
And I, for the record, would want board counsel and GERS counsel to witness my tally as soon as we have them all. We can do them as we go. So this one. So I didn't.
Hold on.
Trustee Smith, you stated in your text, Trustee Smith, you stated in your text that you nominate. You need to say who you vote for. Okay, please correct that. Thank you. Trustee Russell, we received your vote.
Thank you.
Did my vote come through, CEO?
Not as yet, Trustee Dorsey.
I definitely sent it.
What number did you use?
Hold on. It looks like I have 3 numbers.
Mr. Administrator, did you receive my vote?
Not as yet, Trustee Liger.
Is it a 201 number?
No.
I text you, I just sent you the number, Dorsey.
That's an old Liberty number.
Oh.
Mr. Liger, I sent you the number for.
Is it a 340725 number?
Yeah.
So I am awaiting Trustee Liger and Trustee Dorsey.
Oh boy. Okay, hold on.
I sent it. Let me send it again.
I text you the number, sorry. And Trustee Dorsey.
So update, I'm still awaiting Trustee Dorsey and Trustee Ligers.
Oh boy. Okay. Give me a second here, please.
Yeah.
Can we assist either one of you gentlemen? Is there a problem?
Yeah, you can send me a text.
Yeah, send me a text too.
Okay. I just received Trustee Dorsey's, but you sent it via email, which is fine.
Send me the text, sir.
Yes, I'm in the process of
Okay.
actually. Just a moment, Trustee Lager, please.
Sure.
Okay, CEO.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I actually have a new phone. I hope my new number is showing up to you. I don't know if it is.
I just got something from you. It popped up as a notification, and now I'm actually looking for it. I thought it was an email.
So I was calling an old number, trying to reach you on many occasions. So now I see it wasn't avoiding me. You just got a new number.
Okay, so Dorsey, I did receive yours. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't realize you had a new number. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, your vote has been recorded. I'm only waiting for Trustee Ligers, which we should get momentarily. Trustee Liger, did you get the text?
I'm gonna check now.
So while we're waiting for Trustee Liger, CEO, I still want to do the walkthrough. That's what I was calling you for, of the hotel, okay? When you get a chance.
Oh, anytime. Just let us know. We'll have to coordinate with the on-site management. I'd prefer that that Mr. Miller be there so that you could get it from the top, okay?
That's fine. I mean, you don't have to be there, but if he's there, that's fine. I'd be happy if he is there.
We'll definitely arrange that.
Okay.
Trustee Clark, I don't know if you want to do that walkthrough as well.
Sure, I'm glad to
All
participate.
trustees are welcome.
Trustee Dorsey, you said you had a question for me earlier on that we didn't get to address. Do you want to try tackle it while we're waiting for the vote?
Yeah, it was related to the cover over and traveling to DC.
Yeah.
We did vote in the affirmative. We never did that. We had some other things come up. I don't know if it was COVID or what, but it had other things come up. But in our meeting with the
Hey, excuse me. It's still open.
I'm getting a recording when I called.
We are meeting public.
Okay, okay, so we will interpret this forward, right? Which is yes.
You came in?
Yes.
Did you receive my?
We did. It wasn't strictly according to instruction, but we it's your intent is clear.
Okay. Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, I would report that the result of the voting electronically, which once again we will retain for the records, is of the two nominees for chairman, Trustee Colwood received a total of 4 votes, and Trustee Russell received 2 votes. Gentlemen, do you concur?
Yes, I concur.
Okay, thank you. So, Mr. Chairman, you have been re-elected as chairman.
Great. Thank you.
And at this time, we'll entertain nominations for vice chairman.
I nominate Ms. Smith for the vice chair.
Second.
Okay, so the trustee Liger nominates trustee Smith. Does trustee Smith accept as vice chair?
Yes.
Trustee Smith accepts. Any further nominations?
I nominate trustee Liger as vice chair.
No.
And trustee Liger declines?
And I nominate trustee
I
Dorsey.
decline, yes.
I
Okay.
nominate trustee Dorsey.
Okay, trustee Russell nominates trustee trustee Dorsey. Does trustee Dorsey accept?
Yes.
Trustee Dorsey accepts. Are there any further nominations? Okay, if there are none, I will ask that you send your vote by the same method and in the same format. We'll allow 3 minutes for that. Thank you. I received trustee Clark's vote.
Where's this Athene stuff? What do you mean?
Someone said something. So the nominees are trustee Smith and trustee Dorsey. Okay, so I will begin.
Russell vote for trustee Dorsey.
Trustee Russell, mute your mic.
So I have relocated trustee Liger. Okay. So
You get my vote?
trustee Smith, I think you're the only missing vote.
You don't?
Yes,
Okay.
trustee Russell, we did. Okay, all the votes are in. All right, so some further text you can see. We have the votes, and there are 3 votes for trustee Smith as vice chair, 2 votes for trustee Dorsey as vice chair, and 1 abstention, for a total of 6 votes, with trustee Smith receiving 3 plurality of the votes. So, gentlemen, you concur? Very good. I concur. So, Mr. Chairman, I will leave it to you to announce your vice chair.
Okay, as per the administrator and board councils, I've been re-elected as chairman of the board. The GERS and trustee Smith has been elected to serve as vice chair.
May I be the first to congratulate you both.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Look forward to continuing to work with you in your capacities as trustees as well as officers of the trustees.
Thank you, board members, for your support.
I'd like to thank everyone else for their support.
Congratulations.
I'd like to just congratulate our chair and vice chair in your capacities going forward. Also, Chair, I'd like to ask, are we going to look at an assistant administrator at this time, or is that going to be on maybe the next schedule to look at? Our next board meeting agenda to discuss, or are we going to do it in maybe an upcoming committee meeting?
Maybe.
No, what I'm asking, do we have it? Can we put it on the agenda? And what committee would that be in at this point?
I would do an investment committee, so I'll trustees involved with you. in that discussion.
Okay, you mentioned there's an investment committee coming up. I did not get that email. So
No,
that's
we did
on
not send the
Monday.
email because the last time we tried that, some trustees got the details mixed up.
I
So
didn't hear you.
tried.
Can you repeat it? Can you repeat that?
The last time we sent out notices for 2 separate meetings. Some of the trustees got the information mixed up. So I intentionally asked Ms. Coley not to send out the board notices.
Okay, so I'm trying to understand, is there a meeting coming up for the investment committee?
There is a meeting on Monday at 6 p.m. Investment committee.
Okay.
6 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time, our time.
Okay, and is there any policy meeting scheduled?
No, sir. When a policy committee meeting is scheduled, I'll send that out. Let's get back to the agenda, please.
Okay.
That's it for regular session. Can I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Who was that?
We have to read the reason on the agenda, or stated on the agenda.
You want me to, I think we just signal, Sagashi. Trustee Clark.
So for the benefit of Trustee Clark, I'm going to use the standard motion for executive session. I will only be reading it, and then you may move what I read into the record, okay? So this portion of the meeting will be closed to the public for matters pertaining to trade secrets or financial or commercial information or personal or legal matters or matters whose premature disclosure will frustrate the implementation of the proposed agency action.
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Clark.
Seconded by Trustee Smith.
Seconded by Trustee Smith. Trustee Clark? Do you vote in the affirmative?
Yes, I do.
Trustee Clark, yes. Trustee Dorsey?
Yes.
Trustee Dorsey, yes. Trustee Liger?
Trustee Liger, yes.
Trustee Liger, yes. Trustee Russell?
Yes.
Trustee Russell, yes. Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Smith, yes. Trustee Colwood?
Yes.
Trustee Colwood, yes. Mr. Chairman, 68.
All right, so we go to executive session. We take 2 minutes so that MIS could be their matter. Recess for 2 minutes.
And I'll remain silent, yes.